So I started this channel for the purpose to explain about the CBSE 10th portion social. So today, let's start to get into the lesson. The first lesson which is explained in 10th CBSE is Nationalism in Europe. So nationalism in Europe is the first lesson which explained in the 10th portion of social, which is called CBSE. I want to let you know what is nationalism. I think everyone knows what is nationalism. For example, if anyone loves their country, if anyone loves his or her country, they do something for the sake of the goodness of the country, no? That is what nationalism. If I am loving my countrymen, I just do something for the promotion of the government or for the development of a country. That is what considered as a nationalism. But here we are learning how was the nationalism in Europe. That's what the lesson we are looking forward now. The first page of your book consisted with the information when was the world map prepared, especially in the year 1848. Frederick Sorillo, 1848, who was a French artist whose name was Frederick Sorillo, who had imagined this water girl. So he drawn his visualization that he considered as a world map, and he made that world map as a democratic and social republic. So I will write the name of a person who drawn the world map and who called that world map and who called that world as a democratic and social republic. As I already mentioned you, who was a person who drawn the world map as per his visualization, that was obviously Frederick Sorillo in 1848. This was explained in the first page of your book. Let's get into the nationalism in Europe. First, they started the explanation with French Revolution. Everyone heard about the French Revolution. That is what the information which had given initially under the topic nationalism in Europe. So as per the information which is given in your book, the nationalism was started with the French Revolution, which was begun in the year 1789. So everyone should remember the year when was the French Revolution. Even in your sleeping time also, if anyone is asking when was the French Revolution without thinking, you should say immediately that was in the year 1789. So this was the first point. Second point will be how was the political situation in that time and what was the political background which ruled France in the year 1789. Obviously, most of the places in those times had a monarchical form of government only. So this one also had a monarchical form of government. The second point will be which had a monarchical form of government, especially absolute monarchy. Here I want to highlight one thing. Absolute monarchy means no one can play a role in the government except the ruling family, except the king's or queen's family. They only can play a role in a ruling authority. They won't give any chances to others to participate in the government function. That's what the second part. There was an absolute monarchy. So this was a these were the 2 points which prevailed in those times, especially at the time of 1789. And next thing will be, what were the outcomes of French Revolution? If anything would happen, if any revolution was occurred, if any war was occurred, some research have been happened there, or some consequences have been occurred there. That's what the information I'm going to let you know right now. So we can say that is the consequences or effects or results or outcomes so any word you can use. Now what are the consequences of French Revolution? That's I'm going to explain. First thing will be, constitution was brought there. So as I already told you, there was a monarchical form of government. So after the end of the monarchical form of government, especially by the end of the French Revolution, there was a thing created. There was a constitution. Constitution have created. The government given the right to the citizen to create a constitution or to write a constitution. First one, constitution, making of constitution. Second thing will be, a state general have been elected. A state general was elected. Actually, there were a group of members in a state general. That group was selected by the citizens of that country. So a state general was elected by the citizen of France, but later on it was known as National Assembly. How we are having the parliament, how we are having the legislative assembly, just like that. It is a kind of assembly. First it was known as a state general, and but nowadays it is known as National Assembly. Then tricolor flag was introduced. Tricolor flag was introduced. Then next thing will be, there was law, patrie, les citoyens. Law, patrie, les citoyens. These two things emphasize their unity. Actually, there are many kinds of people were located. Some people was born and brought up there. Some people who came from somewhere and settled in France. However, they are. If they settled in France, they have been considered as equal with everyone. That was a thing which insisted from the word of law, patrie, and les citoyens. So law, patrie mean fatherland, les citoyens mean citizen of France. So these emphasized, these indicated their unity. These indicated their unity, that they are united with each other. They are equal with everyone. That is what the thing which highlighted with the word of law, patrie, and les citoyens. This is also one of the outcome of French Revolution. Then there was a centralized administration. They introduced the centralized administration. They introduced the centralized administration. And next thing will be, this French Revolution was started within the boundary of the France. And Europe, if you consider Europe mean, there were many countries located like France, like Germany, like Italy. Many countries are located within Europe. But this revolution was started only within the frontier, only within the boundary of France. So these people, French people, want to spread this nationalism to everywhere, to the other parts of Europe. Many other parts also there in Europe, no? So this nationalism want to spread by the French people to other parts of Europe. That's the next thing. And next point will be French armies. Everyone know all the countries have own army, and this country also not exempted. That country also had a French army. Now also having the French army, there is no doubt at all. So that when that country had a French army, no, the French army moved to the places of Holland, Switzerland, Italy. So the French army shifted to the places of Holland, Switzerland, Italy. To these places they shifted or they moved and spread the nationalism. So these were some important consequences of nationalism. One more time, I want to highlight you what are the points which I already given you as the consequences of French Revolution. So first point, tricolor flag was introduced instead of a royal one. Second thing will be Estate General was selected by the citizen of France. Nowadays it have been known as National Assembly. Third thing will be monarchical form of government was changed, and constitution right has given to the people. And the fourth thing will be centralized administration was given. And next thing, la patrie, les citoyens. These were the two concepts which indicated their unity. And the French army having shifted to the places of Holland, Switzerland, and even Italy to spread the nationalism. And the people of France wanted to spread the nationalism to other parts of Europe also. These were some consequences which made after the French Revolution. I think everyone understood what are the points which I had given you. So I had given through oral and as well as through writing. So I hope you understood. So once go through. Share up. Okay. So now I want to let you know regarding the Napoleonic Code or Civil Code, which was launched in the year, which was implemented in the year 1804. Everyone know who was Napoleon. Napoleon was a French ruler. He implemented the Napoleonic Code or Civil Code in 1804. Here he introduced many changes. Let's see what were the changes which brought by Napoleon under the policy of Napoleonic Code or the Civil Code, which was implemented in the year 1804. The first thing will be feudal system was abolished. Feudal system was abolished. Feudal system was abolished. What is a feudal system? Actually, landlord was there, and under the landlord, tenant take the land and do the agriculture, and they have to pay the taxes to the landlord. So that kind of communication was existed at those time. No, that is what feudalism. Feudalism not only existed in France, but also it was existed in the in India also, in former India also. So this condition was abolished as per one of the change of the Napoleonic Code. Especially this feudal system was abolished in Switzerland, Germany, Italy. Switzerland, Germany, Italy. And second thing will be transport and communication was developed. Transport and communication was developed. Next thing will be weights and measure was standardized. Weights and measures was standardized. Many forgeries occur in when someone is doing the weights and measure. No, they have to use a hammer in and keep over the balance and to reduce the weight. No, so that kind of malpractices was abolished by the Napoleon. So weights and measure standardized. French was announced as an official language. Next thing will be French was announced as an official language. Other dialects was discouraged. Other dialects was discouraged. Have you understand the pronunciation of the word dialects? Dialects. What do you mean by dialects? Don't mistake me. I didn't use the word for dialects. I am using the word dialect. Dialects. Dialects mean languages. Dialects mean languages. Actually, many countries. Actually, we are having the diverse people. In India, we are having diverse people. Everyone is most of the people is use different kinds of languages. The same circumstances which was witnessed in France also. So they used to speak many kinds of languages. But French was announced as official language under the Napoleonic Code. They discourage other dialects. They announced French was an official language. And representative government was established. So these were some changes which brought under the Napoleonic Code or Civil Code, which was introduced in the year 1804. In the previous class, we ended with the making of nationalism in Europe. Today we will continue with that. So making of nationalism in Europe. Under that we are having the information in 18th century. There were no nation state. Nation state means like a country, as the biggest country. We don't have a centralized pattern of government at those time. There was no nation states. That was the first information which have given under the making of nationalism in Europe. Even nowadays we are having the big countries like Germany, Italy, Switzerland. That countries also was in the nation state at those times. And second thing will be duchies and cantons. Duchies and cantons who govern the autonomy territories. Who govern the autonomy territories. Duchies and cantons who govern the autonomy territories, and they permitted all kinds of languages. In the previous topic which I told you, they just permitted to speak only the French language. They don't permitted the other language to speak in France like that we studied. So here, making of nationalism in Europe, they allowed all kinds of languages, and there was no common culture. In the previous topic I told, like la patrie, les citoyens, this was some word which emphasized their unity we studied. But here they don't have any common culture, they don't have a unity between them. That's the second point. Third thing will be, I already told you know all kinds of languages permitted. For example, Alpine region. Like Tyrol, Austria, Sudetenland, Bohemia. So these were the places which comprise with the Alpine region. So these these provinces people used to speak with the German language. So most of the people in Alpine region used to speak only with the German language. Second thing will be Hungary. So in Hungary, half of the people used to speak Magyar language. We are having many names of languages which we speak in India, and just like that they used to have a Magyar language. Half of the people of Hungary used to speak Magyar language. Remaining half of the people used to speak other dialects. Then Galicia. So in Galicia, they used to speak Polish languages. So what are the points which you have to remember under making of nationalism in Europe? There were no nation states in 18th century. Even Germany, Italy, Switzerland also was in the nation states. Then duchies and cantons, they administer their autonomy territories. Autonomy means they have their own territory that only they rule over. And they allowed all kinds of languages, they allowed all kinds of dialects. For example, in Alpine region, they used to, it comprises with the places of Tyrol, Austria, Sudetenland, Bohemia. So these were some places which used to speak with the German language. And second thing will be Galicia. Galicia, they used to speak Polish language. Then Hungary, half of the people used to speak Magyar, and even Italian language. Italian language was used to speak in Venetia. Italian language. So these were some points which we studied under that. But one more thing I want to highlight here, there was no unity among them. They was united only under the rule of the king. Otherwise, they don't show any unity among themselves. These were the information which prevailed under the side of making of nationalism in Europe. Then next side heading will be the middle class. The topic will be the nationalism and middle class. Aristocracy and middle class. This is the next side heading, which is in your book saying. So there was an aristocracy landed system. There was an aristocracy landed system. There was aristocracy landed system, which means they own the land and they have been given the land to others to cultivate, others to produce the crops. No, that was the aristocracy landed system. And in the Eastern and Central Europe, they Eastern and Central Europe, the production was done by the serf. Then in the West, tenants cultivated crops in the west direction, and Eastern and Central Europe cultivation was done by the serf. Serf like a peasant, but they have to used to call upon the term of the serf. And aristocracy landlord was in a small group. Aristocracy landlord was in a small group, and they don't have many number. They connected with each other by marriage alliances. Like they have the matrimonial alliances with themselves only. So they had given the land to others to do the cultivation. So these are the points only have been explained under aristocracy and middle class. And one more thing, new division have been formulated. New division was emerged in the country, like working class and middle class was originated. Two kind of social division was originated, that is working class and middle class. Middle class means businessman, and even the laborers, even the artisan. So these were the people which comprise. These were the people who comprised the middle class. So aristocracy landlord, Eastern and Central Europe was done by the serf. Working class and middle class, these were the two social divisions which existed in those two. So the next topic. In the previous classes we studied regarding the aristocracy landlord and the making of nationalism in Europe, and all this information we studied in the previous class. Today we are going to continue the next side reading. The next side reading which is placed in your CBSE standard book is what did liberalization stands for? What is liberalization stands for, or what does liberalism stands for? What does liberalism stand for? This is what the information which is given as a next side reading in your book. Say, just go through whatever I'm teaching in this session. So, what are the information which given under this topic is the first thing. In 19th century, there was an idealism which created in the minds of the Europeans. That was liberalism. Actually, nationalism was originated with the French Revolution, which we studied in the class. Now, what do you mean by liberalization and what do you mean by liberalism, and when it was originated? It was originated in 19th century in the minds of the European. Second point will be, how does this word came from, or how does this word derive? How does this word derive? Actually, this is a liberalism word which derived from the word of liber. This liberalism is a word which got from the word of liber. Liber means free. Liber means free. In other words, you can say freedom. So whatever you want to do, without asking anyone, without getting the permission from anyone, if you are doing anything instantly, that is what the kind of liberalism or the liberalization. So liberalization is a word which derived from liber, which means free. And next thing will be, there are many perspectives. Actually, different kinds of people were located there. Different kinds of people have different perspectives on the word of liberalism. For example, what was the thought of middle class people. We studied that there are middle class people and working class division, which is the two division which originated at those times we studied. Now I want to let you know what was the observation of middle class on the word of liberalism or the liberalization. So regarding the middle class observation was, they thought liberalization means individuality and equal rights in front of the law. Equality in front of the law. This was a thought which had by the middle class people, which was the thing they understood on the term of liberalism or liberalization. The second perspective regarding the rulers thought, whatever the decision which we bring, that has to agree by the people, that have to agree by the people. That was the second observation. Actually, the ruling class people or the king or queen, or they, when there is many reforms, they make a decision of anything. That decision has to approve, that decision has to agree by the citizens of that country. That was the meaning for the liberalization by the ruling community or by the ruling authority. So these were some observations which had by the people those time on the word of liberalization or the liberalism. The next thing will be, they elected the representative form of government. The representative form of government have been introduced. What do you mean by representative form of government? Even in India also they are having the representative form of government. Who are the representative of us? The representative like MLA, like MP. Actually some MPs or some MLAs who elected by the people and they have been sent to the parliament or to the legislative assembly. With the support of them, the government have been ruled us. So this is what a representative form of government. So this representative form of government have been introduced at those time. Then next thing will be universal suffrage. Universal suffrage. Everyone know what it is suffrage. I want to let you know. Suffrage means voting right. Suffrage means voting right. In India, we used to call upon the term as a universal adult franchise. That means the people who are having the voting right. Here, universal suffrage was there. Universal suffrage was a thing which they want to implement. And one thing will be one thing I want to let you know regarding the Napoleonic Code. Regarding the Napoleonic Code, many things have been reduced. Some field was improved and some field got down. So here the people want to be the universal suffrage. Let's see. I want to let you know what are the problems faced by the people of those time on voting right. And the people, men only have the voting right. Now I let you know when universal suffrage was implemented, how it was implemented, and what was the condition before the implementation of universal suffrage. So due to the Napoleonic Code, universal suffrage was reduced, and Jacobin Club. One thing I want to let you know. Jacobin clubs were the clubs which installed by the educated middle class people in Europe. One more time. Jacobin clubs were the clubs which installed by the educated middle class people. I told you. These Jacobin clubs people who had given the voting right to all the men. Jacobin clubs who had given the voting right to all the men. But due to the Napoleonic Code, that right have been reduced. That voting right was only given to the men who own the property. One more time. For example, in the world level, we are having both haves and have-nots. Haves and have-nots. Haves means the people who are rich or the people who own the property, the people who own many sources, more income. That is what the name for the haves. Have-nots means as usual, poor people, opposite for haves. Some people own the property, some people don't have any property, or they doesn't possess any property. So here, because of the Napoleonic Code, Napoleon had given the voting right only to the people, especially only to the men who owned the property. So there was no voting right to the men who doesn't have any property. That's the first thing. Second thing will be, women wasn't permitted to cast their vote. Don't mistaken me, cast mean is a PC or SC like that, is not a meaning here. Here caste. This caste I told you. This caste means put a vote. In favor of whom we deliver our vote. No, that is a caste. So, because of the Napoleonic Code, they had given the voting right to the men only who are having the property, and they didn't give the voting right to the men who doesn't have a property, and women also not allowed to cast their vote. So when this problem was occurred, the people couldn't tolerate this condition. They want to do they want to make some changes there. So in 19th century. In 19th century, all the people joined together and opposed the government. All the people joined together and protest against the government. So by the way, they introduced the universal suffrage. Universal suffrage wasn't there, or universal suffrage doesn't implemented within a short duration. It takes more time. It caused many revolutions. All the men, all the women who participated against the government, and they demanded the universal suffrage. But one day it became fruitful, one day it became fulfilled. Anyway, in 19th century, all the people joined together and got the universal suffrage. So these are the information which I have given in your book. And one more thing which is given in that point is in 1833. I want to let you know in 1833. In 1833, one trader who visited to France, and when he came to France, he faced many difficulties. Why he faced difficulties? Because of the Napoleonic Code, that the 39th Confederation was formed. Principalities, many small places joined together and formed a 39th Confederation. Confederation, it was a group of principalities. Small petty kingdoms are there, no? That being together and form a 39th Confederation. And when there were 39 confederation, they doesn't follow the same currency. If 39 confederation were there, one principality used to follow one currency, another principality used to follow another kind of currency, and they don't follow the same weights and measure. Currency was different among them, and even weights and measure was different among them. So then one merchant or one trader who visited there, he reported that he crossed some 11 custom barrier. 11 custom barrier. What do you mean the custom? Customs. Two things will be there. Custom means habit. One thing you can say habit. Traditionally we used to follow some habit, that is also custom. Here custom means the taxes. Here custom means the taxes. So when we exported something to other country, we have to pay taxes. When other countries send some product to our country, they have to pay taxes to our government. That condition is still practiced in the world. So that merchant reported, he stated that he crossed 11 custom barrier. What do you mean by barrier? Hurdle. What do you mean by hurdle? obstacle. Obstacle, same meaning for everything, like some kind of disturbance, some kind of problem. So he said that he crossed 11 custom barrier and he paid the tax amount for 5%. 5% taxes has to pay by that merchant as per the information which given. And he told that there were many hurdles which I faced because it took more time for the calculation. Just imagine 39 confederation. From when he reached to each and every confederation, he have to face the different kinds of currency. He have to face different kinds of weights and measure. So he was totally upset, and he paid nearly 5% of taxes to that confederation that mentioned. Then, so the government, the country want to solve the problem. Because of that reason, they established Zollverein or the custom union in 1834. They established the Zollverein or the custom union. Is a committee. It's a group of members who seated there. They take a step to solve this kind of problem. So first thing, in 1834, Zollverein or custom union was established to solve the problem, to sort out the problem whichever occurred over the trade and commerce. Anyway, it took many steps. And it introduced the standardized weights and measure. Same weights and measure was introduced in all the parts of 39 confederation. Same thing will be. The currency have been reduced. I told you each and every federation, each and every municipalities have different kinds of currency. I told you. Now the different kinds of currency have been reduced from 32 to 2. 32 to 2. 32 to be that, not 32 to 32. 32 to 2. Actually, nearly 30 kinds of currencies which are followed by those principalities. That currencies have been reduced into the number of 2 by the custom union or by the Zollverein, which was organized in the year 1834. So these were the information which explained under this side heading. And one more point will be railway. Railway was in India. Railway was introduced. First railway was introduced between the places of Mumbai to Thane. Just like railways have been promoted, many kinds of railway channel have been set up. So because of the railway, the economic was developed. The economic condition have been developed, and by the way, they promote their countries. So when there was a production, when there was a proper trade and commerce, by the way, we can improve the economic condition. That condition was prevailing in European countries, especially in the 18th and 19th centuries. So these were some information which have explained understanding of what the liberalism stands for. Thank you for joining with me. Now, next thing, conservation. What do you mean by conservation? What do you mean by conservatism? That always. In the previous class, I taught you regarding the French Revolution of 1789 and what were the consequences of French Revolution, and what do you mean by Civil Code or Napoleonic Code of 1804, and all this information which we had discussed in the previous class. Today I just move on the next side reading of the portion. The next side reading is a new conservatism after 1815. So in this topic, in this side heading, we are going to learn what are changes would happen, what are changes had happened after 1815, and what do you mean by conservatism. First, I want to let you know what do you mean by conservatism. Conservatism is nothing. Some people who always believe with the tradition, and whatever the reformation which brought by someone, whatever the changes which brought by someone, and whatever the thing someone brought to make him to change, no, he doesn't change anything. And he want to follow what was our tradition. He want to do only the thing which prescribed or which followed by the ancestors. So that is what conservatism. And here conservatism is, and in other ways I can say how it's mentioned in your books in conservatists were the people who believe the social and state order, who believe the tradition of social and state order, like monarchy. They believed on monarchy, and they believed on property, they believed on social hierarchy, and they believe on family. So this is what the thing of the conservatist. Conservatist means the people who follow the tradition. Conservatism means that principle. I want to let you know what is the hierarchy. Hierarchy means king, under the king ministers, under the ministers some other noble, and peasant. So order-wise the society have been divided at those times. That is what the thing hierarchy. Socially, the people have been divided among themselves into many divisions. That is what social hierarchy. So who believed on the tradition, especially on monarchy, especially on family and property, and even social hierarchy. This what thing is what considered as a conservatism. Let's see how the conservatism entered into European countries. One more time, how the conservatism pattern, conservatism principle which entered into the European countries. In 1815, we studied about Napoleon, no? We studied about the Napoleon, no? This Napoleon was defeated in the year 1815. So when Napoleon was defeated in the year 1815, automatically the rule get into the hands of the conservationist. So who are believe on the conservatism, who are follow the conservatism, no, that people take the control over the country to rule, especially after the defeat of the Napoleon, which was in the year 1850. But one more thing was that even though the European countries was under the control of the conservatist, or even though the country was under control of the conservatism pattern, the conservatists never make the people try to get into the past. So before the French Revolution, the people had a monarchy, and the people had a social hierarchy. So many even was practiced before the French Revolution of 1789. To that condition, they never compel. Actually, this was introduced after 1789 only. As a people of European country, you should follow the monarchy. You should get into the pattern of social hierarchy. That compulsion wasn't done by. That compulsion wasn't done by the conservatist people. That is the second point. And third thing will be, even though there was abolition of serfdom, there was abolition of feudalism. I told you what do you mean by feudalism. Landlord was there, under the landlord tenant, under the tenant peasant, and under the peasant also like a cultivator only. So that many kind of order was there, no? That is what feudalism. So feudalism was abolished, and monarchy was abolished, serfdom was abolished. We studied. These are the changes was happened after the introduction of Napoleonic Code, or the Civil Code of 1804. We studied, but the conservatism people, the conservatists who believe Even though there was abolition of feudalism, even though there was in the monarchy, even though there was in the serfdom, definitely it will support the monarchy. Anyway, in a way, we can bring back the monarchy. We can revive the monarchy. That was the thought of the conservatist people. So one more time I want to let you know what are the points which I highlighted before a time. So the first thing, new conservatism after 1815. Conservatism means the people who are believed on the tradition like social hierarchy, monarchy, even feudalism, serfdom. That all those people, all those people is what referred as the conservatist people. And in 1815, Napoleon was defeated, and after that, the power was got into the hands of the conservatist people. But whatever the situation was that, they never compelled the people to get back to the past, to follow the monarchy. But they believed abolition of feudalism also support the monarchy. Abolition of serfdom also can revive the monarchy to the European countries. That was the belief was there in the mind of the conservatist people. So this is what explained in the first paragraph under the side reading of a new conservatism after 1815. Let's see, I already told you in 1815 Napoleon was defeated. Let's see who are all defeated the Napoleon. So Napoleon was defeated in 1815 by Britain, Prussia, Russia, Austria. So Napoleon was defeated by the representative countries of Prussia, Russia, Britain and Austria. He was defeated at the place Vienna. Vienna. One more time. Britain. In short only I am going to write it about Britain, Prussia, Russia and even Austria. So these combined countries, joined together and fought with the Napoleon and defeated the Napoleon at the place of Vienna in 1815. So Napoleon was defeated in 1815 by the countries of Britain, Prussia, Russia and Austria at the place of Vienna. And next thing will be Congress was convened. Congress was convened. What do you mean by Congress? I think everyone knows what do you mean by Congress. And don't say the Congress is one of the party of India. Obviously that is also the right thing only. But here Congress means the conference. The conference was conducted or the convention. Convention also we can say. So Congress was conducted. It hosted by, it led by. Whatever the conference and whatever the program was conducted or is conducted, one person should be there as a leader. So the leader of the conference was matriarch. So Congress was a meeting or a convention or a conference which led by a person of matriarch. And next thing will be, what the conference was conducted, only that leader should be there. No, many followers also attend the meeting. Or the people who are supported the conservatism, they should attend the meeting, they would attend the meeting. No? So many delegates have been participated. Many delegates. Delegates mean the follower or the people who participated in that meeting. Delegates mean the people who participated in that conference. Many delegates participated and they signed the Treaty of Vienna. I already told you, Vienna was a place where Napoleon was defeated by the combined forces of Britain, Prussia, Russia and Austria. So here many delegates have been participated, no? Who signed the Treaty of Vienna in 1815. Same year it was happened. In 1815, they signed the Treaty of Vienna. Have you got me? They signed the Treaty of Vienna to why Vienna? That's a treaty signed. Treaty, in other ways we can say pact. Pact, treaty, or an agreement. The Vienna agreement was signed by the delegates of the conference. By the delegates of the conference. Let's see what were the provision. What is the provision? Provision means, don't just say provisional store. Obviously that is also correct. Provisional store means where we get all the grocery item. That is also correct. But here provision means that the points of the Vienna Treaty. Why this Vienna Pact was signed by the delegates of the conference was the purpose. Don't follow the changes which brought by the Napoleon. We already studied in 1804 due to the Napoleonic War many changes have been brought in the European countries. But Vienna Treaty was signed. It is stated don't follow the changes which brought by the Napoleon. That was the main theme of the Vienna Treaty. Then next thing will be Bourbon dynasty. For example, now I am going to let you know what were the changes which brought by the conservatist people. Now from 1815 onward, that European countries totally under the control of the conservatism or conservatist people. No? Let's see what were the changes which done by the conservatist people. First one, Bourbon people restore the power. Bourbon people restore the power. B-O-N, not A. Bourbon dynasty. How we are having Chera, Chola, Pandya, Pallava, like Calabras, no, just like that. This dynasty, what referred with the title of Bourbon dynasty. This Bourbon dynasty who recaptured the power, who restored the power in the European country. Then, second thing will be Netherlands. Second thing will be Netherlands. Netherlands included Belgium. Netherlands included Belgium, who look after the places of north. The north of the European countries was under the control of the Netherlands, included Belgium. Netherlands, Belgium, that places look over the territory of the northern direction of European continent. Netherlands included Belgium, who look over the north. Then next thing will be Prussia, not Russia. I'm using the pronunciation as a Prussia. Prussia. It added with the Piedmont. It added with the Piedmont in the south. First north, next south. Prussia, which added with the Piedmont in south. And so many changes was brought by the conservatist people. And the next thing will be Russia. Russia was added with the Poland. Russia was added with the Poland. Russia was added with the Poland. In that way also I can say. In other ways I can say Russia became a portion of Poland. Poland was there, no? This territory also added with the Poland territory or with the Poland country. Russia was added with the Poland. Then the last thing will be Austria. Austria became a part of Saxony. Austria became a part of Saxony. So many things was done by the conservative people. Like actually many changes were brought by the conservative people. I had given some example only, like Bourbon dynasty, and one more point which I remember, that France lost its territory. And Netherlands, including Belgium, which given concentration over northern direction of European countries, European continent. Prussia added with the Piedmont in south. Russia became a part of Poland. Austria became a part of Saxony or added with Saxony. Have you got me? So these are things only have been explained in the first paragraph and the side reading of new conservatism after 1815. The second paragraph regarding there was an autocratic rule. Conservatives brought the autocratic rule. What do you mean by autocratic rule? Autocratic rule means they only want to own the government, they only want to rule over the government, they won't allow any other person to involve in the government, to involve in a ruling authority. So autocratic government was there was no liberty, there was no freedom. And one more thing I would like to say here, they brought many censorship rule. Censorship means the people, some newspaper who publish the information to support the liberty and freedom. Sometimes some books who publish the books with the support of the liberty and freedom, who are all supported. If whether book is supported with the liberty and freedom, if newspaper publish the information which favorable to bring the liberty and freedom, everything was curtailed. What do you mean curtailed? Curtailed means don't say tail mean it's a tail of a dog or tail of some other animal. Don't say like that. Here also tail word is that, but totally it's a curtail. But curtail means cut off. That rights have been cut off by implemented some censorship rule that was brought by the conservatist rule in European countries. But they were totally against the liberty and freedom. Actually, we studied French Revolution brought liberty, freedom, fraternity. That one we studied, but that have been totally changed after the at the beginning of conservatist rule. This was the information which I had given under the new order conservatism after 1815. Now we will shift to the next slide ready. The revolutionaries. Have you got me? The revolutionaries. What do you mean the revolution? What do you mean the revolutionary? Revolutionaries. Now next I means revolutionaries. Revolutionaries, revolution means the people who fight against some government, somehow they demanded something from the government. That is like a struggle or a revolution or a mutiny. These are the revolution. People being a mass and fight against the government for some reason. No? That is a revolution. Revolutionaries mean the people who are involved in revolution. No? That is what revolution is. If I am one of the participants of any revolution, you can call me as a revolutionary. If you are in any revolution, I can call you as a mutinist or a revolutionary person. So revolution means like a fight or like a struggle or like a fight against the government. Revolutionary means the people who involved in a revolution. Here I want to let you know, I already told you, conservatives who totally curtailed, who totally driven the liberty and freedom in European country. Some people were there who supported to liberty and freedom, and some people were there who were against the monarchy. Some people were there who were against the monarchy. Some people who were there who want to bring back liberty and freedom. When this condition was prevalent in European countries, they want to get everything by doing revolution. So I already told you many harsh rule was implemented by the conservative people to stop the revolution or to stop the information which published by the media that I already told you. Here, when this kind of harsh principle was there, they formed the underground organization or the secret society. Nowadays, we know some secret society are there, and they do something that news is spreading around us. That is the same thing was happening there at that time. Especially many secret societies were formed. And the most important mutinist, the most important individual revolutionary, we are not going to study the total revolutionary people. Now we are going to study about one Italian revolutionary. That person name was Giuseppe Mazzini. We are not going to study all kind of revolution which done in European countries. I am going to let you know a person, Giuseppe Mazzini, who done the revolution. That is what we are going to learn right now. First, I will write the name of a person who started the revolution in that as an individual, not as a group, as an individual. He was an Italian revolutionary. He was an Italian revolutionary person who was born in 1807 in the place of Genoa. He was an Italian revolutionarist who was born in 1807 in Genoa. So he became the revolutionarist. He became the revolutionarist and done many revolutions in European countries. Especially in the year 1831. In the year 1831, he done a revolution in the place of Luger. One more time. now I'm explaining regarding the information of the revolutionaries, especially the revolutionarist whose name was Joseph Mazzini, who was born in 1807 in the place of Jona, and he became a member of a secret organization and who started many revolutions in that, especially in the year 1831, who started the revolution in the place of Luger. That revolution was done at the age of 24. When he done the Luger revolution, no, his age just was 24. You just imagine, nowadays at the age of 24, but nowadays I really appreciate appreciate the youngsters. Now they are very focused. And if I compare myself with that all those youngsters, no, really I'm not that kind of person. Nowadays only we have some kind of aim, but nowadays the generation is totally very bright. Anyway, getting to the point, at the age of 24, in 1831, he started the Luger Revolution. So when we done the Luger Revolution, or when we are doing the revolution against the government will be silent. No, they have to take an action against us. Correct? So the government taken action in the way of exiling. In the way of exile. Exile. Do you know what you mean exile? Exile. E-X-I-L-E. Exile means shifting to other country. Exile is shifting to other country or shifting from the native place to other place. So he wasn't permitted to stay back in his native place, but he can stay somewhere else beyond the territory of his own country or own region. This is what exile. So 1831, he started the revolution at the place of Luger at the age of 24. And he was exiled. He was exiled for that mistake, for that revolution. Then, not only that, he started two secret societies. Have you got me? He joined with one secret society and done a revolution in the European countries, and at the age of 24 in 1831 he started the revolution in Luger. For that he was punished in the way of exiled that I told you. Now I'm going to let you know he himself started two organizations, two secret societies or two secret agencies. One was Young of Italy. Another one was Young of Europe. Young of Italy and Young of Europe. And Young of Italy, I think it was started at the base Marseille, but Marseille. Another one started at the base of Bonn. Not B-O-N-E, Bonn, B-O-R-N-E. So he started two secret agencies. One was Young Italy. Actually, I think I added extra of Young Italy, Young of Italy also. I can say Young of Italy, Young of Europe. These two organizations were started by person Joseph Mazzini. One was set up at Marseille, another one was set up Bonn. Who are all the members of these secret societies? If any organization was started, means some followers and some members should be there, no? Like France, like Poland, like Germany, like Italy. These country people who join as a member of these secret societies were started by Joseph Mazzini, like the name of Young of Europe and Young of Italy at the places Marseille and Bonn respectively. And the next point will be why this organization was started. But I told you already, generally these secret agencies, this secret organization was started for the purpose to get back to bring back the liberty and freedom. But here, Joseph Mazzini, who started this organization for the purpose to bring back liberty and freedom is it's a one thing. Other thing was to unify Italy, demanding the unification of Italy. Actually, in that time, the territories are being scattered. One place at one place located at somewhere, another place is located at other side. So that kind of condition was prevalent those times. But he demanded the Italy should be unified. He demanded the unification of Italy. And later on, initially, secret agencies, secret societies only started the place of Marseille and Bonn. Later on, it has been spread out to France, to Germany, to Italy, to Poland. So to all these countries also, these kind of secret agencies have been started. And when he started this kind of revolution, no, the conservatives got frightened. What about frightened? Frightened. Frightened means fear. The conservative people who are ruled over the European countries, no, they got fear. Joseph Mazzini, who done a revolution, maybe he can change the European people, he can change the European power. What should we do? So that kind of fear was in the mind of the conservative people. And I already told you, a person, Congress, the conference was led by matriarch. We studied matriarch. I told you, matriarch was a person who conducted the conference for the conservatism, for the conservatist conference we studied. No, he stated, matriarch who stated, totally I have a fear over the revolution of Joseph Mazzini. He was a very strong person. Totally, I fear about Joseph Mazzini revolution. That kind of statement was stated here by matriarch, who was a host or who was a leader for the conference of conservatism. So these were the information which I had given under the revolutionaries. So we studied about the Italian Italian revolutionarist whose name was Giuseppe Mazzini, who was born in 1807 in the place of Jonah, and who joined in a secret agency, and he started the revolution in 1831 at the age of 24 in the place of Lugal. So he was exiled. And he started two more secret agencies, Young Italy and Young Europe. One was at the place of Marseille, another was at the place of Bonn, and he was very toughest revolutionarist in European countries with the conservatist people at those times. So these were the information which I had given under revolutionary side reading. So I just completed up to the page of 12 in your book. So next thing we will continue in the next session. Same lesson, nationalism in Europe. So in the previous class, I already informed you many information from that particular lesson. Today I want to let you know on some 3 side reading. The first side reading among that, the age of revolutions. So the age of revolutions between 1832 to 1848 only I am going to let you know first. So in that side reading, you are having the information regarding that actually conservative rule was there. During the conservative rule, they again brought the monarchy, that all this information which we studied. So in that conservative period, they tried to consolidate the power. When they try to consolidate the power, consolidate means they want to make to join all the territory together. So when they want to doing so, at that time nationalism and liberalism emerged. Already it was existed. It was grown well in that occasion, in that period. Let's see whatever the thing was happened under the age of revolution. The first point will be the Bourbon dynasty. I already taught you during the conservationist period, during the conservative period, they made a change of the monarchy. At the same time, Bourbon dynasty restored its power, it recaptured its power, which we taught in the previous regime of conservatism after 1815. So now Bourbon dynasty was that. That Bourbon dynasty was dethroned. Dethroned means they removed from power. Instead of that Bourbon dynasty, that power was given under the hands of Louis Philippe, and they formed the constitutional form of government. They formed the constitutional government. That government head was Louis Philippe. Listen me carefully. The age of revolution was that Bourbon dynasty was dethroned. Instead of that, constitutional government was set up. The constitutional government was under the control of Louis Philippe. This was the first condition which was set up under the age of revolution. And when nationalism and liberalism was there, they want to spread everywhere. And the nationalism and liberalism was emerged in the countries of Italy, Germany, Ottoman Empire, Ireland, and Poland. These are the countries witnessed with the liberalism and nationalism. And not only that, this liberalism and nationalism spread to everywhere. Especially, it spread to Belgium. It spread to the places of Brazil and Belgium. So under this period, Belgium was under the control of Netherlands. When nationalism and liberalism was there, they want to get independent from the hands of the Netherlands. So this nationalism and liberalism was spread to the places of Brazil and Belgium. Belgium demanded the freedom from Netherlands and they got it. They got the freedom from Netherlands. They removed themselves from the hands of the Netherlands. So this was the same thing which was happened at the time of age of revolution. And second thing will be this thing was that, and Metternich. Have you heard about the Metternich? In the previous class I told about the name of Metternich, but instead of that name I just given you as a Metternich. Sorry for that, Metternich. Studying Metternich was the person who led the Congress or the conference which we studied in the previous class. Metternich, who stated when nationalism and liberalism was spread over, he stated that Metternich that when France sneezes, listen me, when France sneezes, that other European countries got cold. Whenever only we are sneezing always, when we have a cold, when we have some issues, like sinus issue, at that time only we are continuously sneezing. So Metternich who stated that when France sneezing, other European countries catch cold. That is he told as a comment for the spread of on the spread of nationalism and liberalism. And not only that, this mobilization of nationalism was spread. Mobilization of nationalism spread. Mobilization of nationalism means the nationalism spread at everywhere. That mobilization of nationalism spread because of the war of independence of Greek. Actually, everyone have a thought, I should get independent. My country should get independent from the hands of the country under whom we are. So that kind of mobilization of nationalism spread on the inspiration of War of Independence of Greek. War of Independence of Greek. And Greek was a part and parcel of Ottoman Empire. Greek was a territory of Ottoman Empire. That Greek demanded freedom from the hands of other European countries. They started the war, or they led a revolt on the other European countries in the year 1821. Listen me, the War of Independence of Greek was started in the year 1821 to get a freedom from the hands of the European countries. Second thing will be Byron, Lord Byron. B-Y-R-O-N, Lord Byron, who was a poet. What are the works of poet? What does the poet should do? The poet has to write some literature or write some poem or some lyrics. That is what the work of the poet, no? The poet was Lord Byron, who supported to the War of Independence, and not only that, he collected some fund. To lead a war wasn't an easy thing. We have to spend more money. So Lord Byron, who supported to the War of Independence and who collected some fund from the people, and as well as he participated in the war. He not only done the oral support, he not only supported to the War of Independence of Greek as a brute, he supported physically. He also participated one of the soldiers in the War of Independence of Greek. This Greek, but Greek got a support from Greece. Greece mean that the people, that Greek country people are located at everywhere the European countries, they rendered their support to the War of Independence of Greek, and not only that, Western European countries also supported to the War of Independence. So Lord Byron, who supported to the War of Independence, and he was died in the year 1824. He was died in the year 1824. And this war came an end. This war came an end with the Treaty of Constantinople in the year 1832. Constantinople, not noble. Noble is a different meaning. Noble means a service, good service, like that. Noble. Constantinople. So you have to remember 1821 War of Independence of Greek was started, and Lord Byron was a poet who also involved in the War of Independence of Greek. And in the War of Independence, they got the support from Greece people and as well as other Western European countries. This war came to an end by the year 1832 with the Treaty of Constantinople. So these are the information which given under the side heading of Age of Revolutions 1832 to 1848. Have you got me, everyone? Shall we move on to the next slide reading? Yeah. Next one, the romantic imagination and national feeling. The romantic imagination and national feeling, in that side reading you are having the information regarding how the nationalism and liberalism spread among the countries of, among the parts of European countries, and who are the people who done a contribution to spread the liberalism and nationalism. That's what the information which is providing under this side reading. So the first point in your book, especially under the side reading, is romantic imagination, romanticism. Romanticism. So Romanticism in making cultural changes, So we had different culture, and it has some problematic points. Some people who born there to make a change on the old culture. That overall made a change on the culture. That word is what? Romanticism. One more time. Romanticism is a word mean for cultural changes. Romanticism is bad, mean for cultural changes. And through the poem, through the lyrics, through the song, through the music, some people make a change on culture. No, that is also what Romanticism. For example, we have a German philosopher whose name was Johann Fried. Johann Gottfried, German philosopher who was Johann Gottfried, who discovered the real German culture was existed among the common people. We have rich people, we have middle class people, we have poor people, haves and have-nots, many divisions we are having in the society. No, he believed, German philosopher is Johann Gottfried, who believed the German culture, real German culture, the true German culture was existed among the common people. That he was stated. And here Russia, that country captured Poland. And that Russia captured Poland in the sense, in the last class which I told you, under the conservatist period, they separated the territory. Poland was given to Russia. Poland also became a part of Russia. We study, that thing only here highlighted. Russia got a territory of Poland. They used to speak a Polish language. But when Russia took a control over the Poland, they wasn't allowed the people to speak in Polish language. For example, Polish language was the official language and common language which is used to speak in the college and school level. That language was forced out. That language was compelled to forced out from school. Actually, hereafter don't follow the Polish language in school, and hereafter you should use to speak only with the Russian language. That kind of changes which brought by the Russia in Poland. And not only that, when actually Polish language wasn't allowed in the colleges and school, but that wasn't followed by the popes. The popes who led a church, popes who led a mass in a church, and whatever the thing which should do related to the church, that all the things should do by the pope is studied. Pope wasn't used to speak with the Russian language. Actually, they do the mass and they given advices to the people with the Polish language only, in the Polish language only. When they wasn't follow the ideology, or when they wasn't follow the order of the Russia, that they were arrested. The popes were arrested. And sent to Siberia. Have you got me? So Romanticism means making cultural changes. That cultural changes not done in the same day. It took more time to make cultural changes, and like writers through lyrics, through poem, through stories, through music, through songs, they made changes on the culture. That is what referred as a Romanticism. For example, Johann Gottfried was a German philosopher who discovered the real German culture was followed only by the common people. And Russian country that captured Poland is a country which used to speak Polish language. That Polish language was driven away from all the schools and college or from the country. It was wiped out. It was wiped out from the country of Poland, but that order wasn't followed by the popes of the church. When they wasn't followed the order of the Russia, no, they were arrested and sent to the Siberia. Have you got me, everyone? The next one, hunger, hardship and popular revolt. Hunger, hardship and popular revolt. In 1830s, there was an increase of population in European countries. Actually, many in the beginning of the class itself I told you, Europe doesn't mean any particular country. It consisted with many countries. All the European countries has more population. The population has been increased by the year 1830s. So, what are the consequences will be faced after the increasing of population? In India also we have more population. But population is very necessary. Manpower is very important for the development of each and every country. But the thing is, it also makes some problem like job issues, like food supply. On all these criteria, we have to face some problem. The same problem which faced by the European country people by the year 1830s. So when it had more population, by the way, the people don't have a job opportunity, and there is a reduction of cultivation. There is a reduction of cultivation. There is a reduction of food supply. When these problems faced by the people, they jump into that revolt or they involve in a revolt. Especially the year 1848. And one more thing I want to let you know, the peasant not able to pay the money to the feudal. Feudal mean landlord was there. When the landlord given the land to the peasant, the peasant must pay the rent or the peasant must pay the half of the cultivation amount to the feudal. That was pending. The peasant wasn't able. The peasant wasn't able to pay the money to the landlord, and cultivation became failure. And the cultivation became failure. They couldn't do the cultivation as for the people of the European country. They couldn't satisfy the people of the country through the cultivation. So when cultivation became diminished, by the way, the people not get the proper food supply. When the people not able to get the food supply, the people involved in a revolt. Especially this condition was done in Paris. And this condition was existed in Paris, 1848. In 1848, the people involved in a revolt because they are not getting any food supply and they are not getting the job opportunity. They are not able to fulfill the needs of the European countries by food supply. So by this way, they started the revolt in Paris by the year 1848. So, when this condition was there, I already told you, constitutional government was set up under the leader of Louis Philippe. I told you, Now Louis Philippe compelled to flee. Flee mean compelled to remove from service. He was compelled to remove from the service, and Louis Philippe was appointed as the head of the constitutional government. I told you. Now he was compelled to get out from that position. And National Assembly. I already told you in the beginning of the class, actually there was a estate general. Estate general members have been elected by the people of European countries. That estate general have been, it got a name as the National Assembly at later that we studied. Now National Assembly was there. It took many measures to stop the problem which happened over the hunger or over the country. What are they are facing the problem of hungry, they are facing the problem of getting food supply. No, that problem want to deprive by the National Assembly. Now, National Assembly granted many rights to the people of European countries. The first right to work. National Assembly granted the rights to the European country citizens. First one, right to work. Right to work. Second thing was universal suffrage. Universal suffrage was granted to all the men. In the previous class, we studied that universal suffrage was given only to the men who had a property. The people who are not have a property, they are not get the voting right. That we studied in the previous class. Here, all the men, whether they own the property or they didn't have any property, all the men who are at the age of 21 got the voting right, got the suffrage. So this was a measure, this was a step which brought by the National Assembly. Not only that, one more point will be, they set up many workshops. They set up many workshops. What do you mean workshop? They set up many meeting. In that meeting, they offer, they call upon many companies to offer job opportunities to the people of European countries. Workshop will be conducted. In that workshop, we have get some idea how to get a job opportunity or how to become an entrepreneur. That many idea will get through the workshop, and the workshop also arranged by the National Assembly to grant a job opportunity to the people of European countries. That step also took by the National Assembly. The next thing will be in 1845. In 1845, weavers, Silesia. Listen me. In 1845, weavers. Who are the weavers? Anyone? Yeah, everyone know. Maybe you struggle how to tell an answer. Weavers are the manufacturers of cloth. Weavers were the manufacturers of cloth. So who are the people who done in the production of cloth? No, they are the weavers. So the weavers of Silesia who done a revolution. Who done a revolution against the people who are given raw material and against the people who demanded the production from them. For example, some people who demanded, I need these many cloths within this month or within next month. That kind of demand will do by someone to the weavers, no? So they done a revolt against the people who are giving the work to them, because they are not able to get the proper wages. They are doing many works. They are doing more production, but their amount will be very less. Their salary will be very less. So they fought against the people who had given the job opportunity to them to demand more salary or to demand more wages. Wages mean salary. Wages mean salary. So the weavers of Silesia who done a revolt against the people who demanded the work from them, who demanded the production from them for asking more wages. The year 1845. Then on June 4, on June 4, Mansons and contractors who led a revolt against the government. Mansons mean who have a big house, who have more property, or who are residing in a big building, no? They were the Mansons. So Mansons and contractors who led a revolt against the government on June 4. So this kind of revolution which took place in the year between 1832 to 1848. This is what the information which I have given under the hunger, hardship and popular revolt. Any doubt over this? Shall I rub? You are having one word in your book, pauperism. When there was a less cultivation, when they are not able to do more production, no, that condition led to the pauperism. If cultivation is there, means they can satisfy the people what they demanded, and they can serve the food to everyone. But they are not able to serve the food to everyone because of the less cultivation. So when there was a less cultivation, no, that paved the way for, that led to a way for pauperism. Pauperism means extreme poverty. Extreme poverty. Okay. Shall I run? So today we discuss regarding the information on age of revolution, romanticism and hardship, hunger and popular revolt. So the age of revolution, that is otherwise known as July Revolution. In the July Revolution was happened in France. In that revolution only they appointed Louis Philippe as the head of the constitutional government. All those information which we studied on the first topic, first side reading. Second one, making cultural changes. Third one, 1848, the people involved in a revolt in the place of Paris, and not 1838, 1848. All those information which we had discussed. See, 1848 and 1845 and 1830 and 1821 and 1824 and 1832. These are the years which we had discussed today. Do you remember 1848 they done a revolt in Paris. 1845 we was done a revolt in Silesia. 1830 July Revolution. 1821 War of Independence of Greek. 1824 the demise of Byron, and 1832 the end of War of Independence of Greek, and that war was ended with the Treaty of Constantinople. These are the information which we have discussed in this class. The next class we are going to learn the revolution done by the liberals. Whatever the information which we have discussed from the lesson of nationalism of Europe in the previous class, today the same continuation of the lesson only we are going to looking forward. So many side reading which we discussed in the previous class. Today we have to get into the next side reading of the lesson, is revolution of the liberals. Revolution of the liberals. So, revolution of the liberals, under this side reading, we are going to learn when there was a revolution, when the people were fighting against the government for their demand. At that time, the middle class people also who fought against the government for their demand. And even there was a hunger, there was a poverty, there was an unemployment. Many situations was existed in European countries. And they, when they jump into the revolution, even unemployment people, even the starving people, even the poor people, all kinds of people who done a revolution against the government for what they expected from the government. So, in this side reading, the information which provided to you all, the liberals mean middle class people. Even the middle class people also, they done a revolution against the government. And under this heading, I am going to let you know what are the demand which proposed by the liberals, or what were the demand which proposed by the middle class people, and what are the changes which carried by the middle class people. All this information only which I am going to provide you. The first thing will be, I want to let you know, there were no nation states in those times, especially in 1848. There weren't no nation state. In the previous class, I already explained you what do you mean by nation states. It's nothing. Nation state means where we have the centralized administration, or where the places being together under one organization or under one rule. That's what called the centralized state or the nation state. So even nowadays we are having Germany is a superior country and Italy is a superior country. We are considering that all those countries are superior. But at those times, even Italy, even Germany, even Poland, even Austria-Hungary, these weren't the nation states. These were in the nation states. So under this, middle class people led a revolt. That revolt only is referred as the revolution of the liberals. And who are the middle class people? Like professional, like artisan, like workers. So these are the kinds of people considered as middle class people. And let's see what they demanded. Demands of middle class people. Demands of middle class people. The first thing, abolition of monarchy. The second thing, formation of nation state. The third thing, constitution. Fourth one, freedom of association. And the last one, freedom of press. They demanded many things. The foremost were, the first one was the abolition of monarchy. Everyone knows what do you mean by monarchy. In the first session of the class itself, I let you know what do you mean by monarchy. Monarchy is what a kind of government where there is a king or queen. So, abolition of monarchy. And second thing, they demanded constitution. And nation states. Nation states. And freedom of association. Freedom of association. Freedom of press. And freedom of association, freedom of press, and formation of constitution. That's it. Constitution. 5 only given. That 5 I already explained you. This one I added extra. This one I added more. That is in the point under that side reading. So, abolition of monarchy, demanded for the making of constitution, formation of nation states, freedom of association, and freedom of press. So these are what the demand of the liberalist people or by the middle class people. This is what explained in the first paragraph of the page number 17. Then next one. Second paragraph. Frankfurt. So Frankfurt was a place. Frankfurt was a place where all the people, where all the German region people who joined there, and decided to participate in the election. Not in the sense to contest the election, they want to participate to cast their vote. Actually, Frankfurt in German region, where there were many associations with the middle class people. In German region, there were many associations with the middle class people. And all the association who met at the place of Frankfurt. So all the middle class association of the German region who joined together and met at the place of Frankfurt. There they decided to cast their vote, to put their vote in the election. Actually, at that time in 1848, same year, in that year, they conducted the election for the German National Assembly. As we already studied, the property men only was allowed to cast their vote. Non-property men and as well as women was prohibited or was banned to cast their vote. We studied in the previous class scene. So here 1848, German National Assembly election was conducted. So all the German region association, all the German region middle class association who joined together and met at the place of Frankfurt, where they decided to cast their vote in the election of the German National Assembly. So 1848 German National Assembly election was conducted. Okay, now May 18, 1848, same year, 831 representatives were elected. Actually, election wasn't conducted for the selection of any particular person. Election was conducted, or election will be conducted for the selection of many members, for the election of many members. So here also many members have been elected through the election for the German National Assembly. Nearly 831 representative who have been elected under the election of German National Assembly. So May 18, 1848. Actually, after election, that ministers have taken oath and they have to tell, I should be do this for the people, I should be I should be loyal to the government, and many many promises they should be given in front of the people or in front of the government. They should give, correct? Is it no? Is it so? No. So the same thing was happened that 831 people who done a procession. Procession. What is the procession? Procession means more people joined together and led a march. Many people joined together and led a march. So all 831 representatives led a march towards to the Frankfurt Parliament. And that Parliament on that day, it was conducted in St. Paul's Church. Actually, that all the 831 members who have been elected for the purpose to administer the Frankfurt Parliament. But on the day, the beginning of the day, to start the work of that members, that meeting was conducted, that function was conducted in the Church of St. Paul's. That convention was conducted in the Church of St. Paul's. And the people joined together and the convention took place there. The convention took place in which place? Please let me know. I can't hear. Yeah. So that the convention was conducted at the place of St. Paul's Church. So they decided, and they introduced many changes even in the beginning of the work of that middle class people. And all the members were middle class. And that meeting was conducted there. And that they decided, listen me carefully, this is the most important point, that in that meeting, the members decided to form a constitutional government under monarchy that's subject to parliament. One more time, they want to set up the constitution under monarchy that's subject to parliament. What do you mean by that? Listen me. Let me to write in a board first of all. Listen me. In St. Paul's Church, all the people joined together, all the members of the German National Assembly joined together, and they done many reforms, or they made a change. What change was that? They decided for the formation of constitution. I want to ask one question to you all. Do we have a constitution in India? Yes, obviously. We have a constitution in India. It's a lengthiest written constitution of the world. It's a model of many countries' constitution. We didn't make a constitution within a day. We took more than a year to frame a constitution. It's a second thing. Again, getting to the point of this German National Assembly. So they want to set up the constitution that should be under monarchy. That monarchy should be under the parliament. Which means constitution should function by monarchy. That monarchy should answerable to parliament. So before many years, the monarchy only has to take more decision. They only have to take a decision on themselves. They don't need to discuss with anyone. That is studied. But here, after the election for the German National Assembly, after the convention of the middle class members were in St. Paul's Church, they decided to make a constitution. That constitution should be monitored by the monarchy. That monarchy should be monitored by the parliament. So this was the change which made by the middle class members of German National Assembly. When this change was happened, now they decided they want to make a constitution. They want to make a constitution. The constitution should be under monarchy. That monarchy should be under parliament. We study. So they need one king. So they approach the German National Assembly members who have been elected through election. They nominated. They approached. They asked Friedrich Wilhelm IV. Friedrich Wilhelm IV of Prussia king. He was already the king of Prussia, not Russia, Prussia. They asked him, can you join with us? Can you lead our government? Can you take our rule? They approached him, but he said, no. I am not ready to support you. So I want to start my rule under you. That kind of response done by Friedrich Wilhelm IV of Prussia. And Friedrich Wilhelm IV and as well as German army, these middle class people who want to make a change in the country, they are ready to make a constitution, they are ready to make a nation state, they need a unification of the country. So when they need all this, some people were there, they tried to curtail them, they tried to suppress them, they tried to control them. The army was there, they tried to control the revolution of the middle class people, they tried to control the revolution of the liberals. So these were the thing was happened. And next thing will be And even women, we already studied, women wasn't get permission. Women wasn't permitted to cast their vote. No, we studied. Now, the political rights. They demanded the political rights. Women demanded the political rights. What are the political rights? The women can participate in elections. The women can cast their vote. The women can participate in the meeting of the government. That political rights demanded by the women. But those time many changes was brought up. More women who participated in the meeting of the government. Meeting of the government. They started many newspaper and many changes was done by the women, but they weren't get the voting right. They done a participation in the meeting of the government. They founded many newspaper. They done lot of reforms. They done lot of changes in the European country. But even though they done all this, even though they achieved in this, they weren't allowed. Sorry, not was. Weren't, they is a plural word, no? So they weren't allowed to cast their vote. The universal suffrage wasn't given them. Universal suffrage wasn't given them. So all the men, all the women who done a revolution, all the people who done a revolution at the place of Frankfurt, and finally universal suffrage was allotted. Universal suffrage was given. And even we already studied St. Paul's Church, the German National Assembly first meeting was conducted. The first meeting of the German National Assembly was conducted in the St. Paul's Church we studied, no? Where the women was permitted as an observator. They didn't get any right to do that. They didn't get any work to do that. They permitted only to look at that even. At the same time, they was permitted as a visitor. They were considered as an observator what was happening there and what was the changes which done by the German National Assembly. That was observed by the women, but they weren't allowed to cast their vote, to put their vote. This is what explained in the second paragraph. Next thing will be the last paragraph, which is under revolution of the liberals. Listen me. Monarchy want to abolish by the liberals. We studied. I already told you monarchy was tried to abolish by the liberals. When monarchy was tried to abolish by the liberals, no, that monarchical form of government want to make some changes. Actually, the people of our country, they are fighting against us. Why don't we do some changes for them? Why don't we take any reforms for the development of the country or for the development of the people? They got that mind. First monarchical form of government, they are very autocratic. They were very they were very strict on their vision. But now they decided to make a changes in their country. So first of all, that monarchical form of government done many changes in the Central and Eastern Europe. The Central and Eastern Europe. Not only that, they abolished serfdom. They abolished serfdom and bonded labor in the places of Habsburg and as well as in Russia. Habsburg and Russia. It's a mean monarchical form of government want to do some changes in that European countries. So they done lot of changes, especially in the part of Europe of Central and Eastern Europe. Not only that, they abolished the monarchical form of government, abolished serfdom. Serfdom and bonded labor. Serfdom mean regarding to the landlord system, that landlord like a feudal, no, it's similar with the feudalism. Serfdom and bonded labor, we know. They done some agreement between the workers and the owner, and how many years they sign in agreement, no? For that many years they have to work under that owner. That we know, that is what the bonded labor. So serfdom and bonded labor was abolished in the places of Habsburg and Russia. So these are the things only had given under the side heading of Revolution of the Liberals. So Revolution of the Liberals mean wherever we have a revolution which is done by the middle class people, like professional, like workers, like artisan, that is what referred as the Revolution of the Liberal. That we studied about the Wilhelm IV, like Friedrich Wilhelm IV, and we studied regarding the constitution. They want to abolish. They want to abolish the monarchical form of government. They want to set up the constitution. They want to get the freedom of association, freedom of press, and all these demand which demanded by these liberal people that they studied. And they done a meeting in Frankfurt where they decided to cast their vote in the election for the German National Assembly. All this information which we studied under this paper. That much of information only I had given under the side reading. Next side reading will be making of Germany. Making of Germany. I hope everyone got this point properly. Shall I have this? Okay. Next thing will be making of Germany. Making of Germany. So nationalism was there. So when nationalism was there, along with the nationalism, democracy and revolution also existed. Nationalism means no, there was in the peaceful thing was occurred, they demanded democracy and they done a lot of revolution was done in European countries. Mobilized nationalism was spread by the conservative. We studied no conservatism after 1815. In this we studied no the conservatives to only spread the nationalism everywhere. So when these conservatives led a struggle for the mobilized nationalism, no, that make a way for the unification of the countries. One more time, the conservatives to only spread the nationalism at everywhere of the European countries. So when this conservatives who spread the nationalism at everywhere, no, by the way, the people got an idea for the unification of Italy and Germany. So today we are going to learn only about the unification of Germany. Next thing will be later. So making of Germany, and here Prussia was there. Prussia only take a step. To be a leader for the formation of unification of the country, or to make a formation of the unified country. I already told you what is unification. Scattered places was there. They want to amalgamate all the places together. They want to make all the places come under one roof. That is the unification of the country. So Prussia took a step, especially William I. Prussia king was William I. Prussia king was William I, who decided for the unification of Germany and who led a committee, or who led a committee of members to form the Germany, to unify the territories of Germany, who was a Prussia king. And when he set up the committee to make a country, to make the nation states, at that time that committee has chief minister. Nowadays we have chief minister for our state, and our states have a chief minister to rule only within that particular state. Just like that, this committee leader was William I, who was a Prussia king. But this chief minister, or the second leader who assisted to the William I, that was Otto von Bismarck. Otto von Bismarck. In a book, his name was given as chief minister of the committee, whose name was Otto von Bismarck. So Otto von Bismarck only led all the steps. Actually, we couldn't make a country within a day. If we can make a country within a day, it's an awesome thing if you are doing so. But no one can make a country within a day. It have to take more time to make anything, to make any country. Here, Otto von Bismarck was a chief minister of the committee. That committee was led by William I, who was a Prussia king. And for 7 years, war was happened. For 7 years, 3 war was happened. 7 years, 3 war was happened. Prussia done a war for 7 years with 3 countries. They were Austria, Denmark and France. Listen me, it wasn't an easy task to make a country within a day. So many steps has to take on to form a country, to unify the country. Otto von Bismarck only take a measure. Leader was there who commanded everything what should do to the Otto von Bismarck. But Otto von Bismarck only was in a field to take a step forward. Within a 7 years, they done 3 wars. 3 wars with Austria, Denmark and France. One more time, for 7 years, this committee or this group who led a war with 3 countries for 7 years. They were with Austria, Denmark and even with France. But all the war was favorable to the Prussia only. You understand me? Actually, the Prussia leader was there, whose name was William I, who led a war with these 3 countries. But all the war won by the Prussia. And finally, Germany was unified. In the year 1871. That's what I mentioned in the beginning of the topic itself. So, Germany was unified in the year 1871. And now, not only that, now all the people being together, all the people assemble in the place of Hall of Mirror, Versailles. Hall of Mirror, Versailles. Even German states, even Prussian ministers, and even army, representative of the army. Actually, not only Otto von Bismarck and William I who assembled the meeting, more people who participated in the meeting, like German state, and even the army representative, even the Prussian ministers, all these people who participated in the meeting which done in the year 1871. In the Palace of Hall of Mirror at Versailles. Palace of Hall of Mirror at Versailles, where they selected Kaiser William I. The Kaiser William I. Kaiser William I as the king of the Germany. Have you got me? They assemble in the place of Hall of Mirror at Versailles, where they decided, where they proclaimed. What do you proclaim? What do you mean proclaimed? Proclaimed to mean announced. In that meeting, in that time where they assembled, that they decided for the unification of Germany, and as well as they decided Kaiser William I was the king of Germany. So when this monarchy became the king of, or when this monarchy which led the Germany, that time they done many changes. They done a change on currency, they done a change on judicial system, they done a change on legal system. Almost they touch all the field, and they made lot of changes on these aspects when they became the ruler, or when they became the ruling dynasty of Germany. So this is what an information which had given under the making of Germany. So making of Germany was happened in the year 1871. That making of Germany, first initial step was took by William I. Our chief minister was Otto von Bismarck, and finally with the effort of Otto von Bismarck and as well as William I, they unified the Germany in 1871, and they assembled the meeting in the place of Hall of Mirror or Versailles, where they decided Kaiser William I was the king of Germany. When they became the ruling dynasty of the Germany, they did a lot of changes in the field of currency, in the field of legal system, in the field of judicial system. Not only that, 3 wars which done by the Prussia for 7 years with Austria, Denmark, and even with the France. But one important thing was that on all the 3 wars, the victorious country was Prussia. The victorious country was Prussia. So all these changes only happened by the year 1871. These were the information only which are given under the side heading of 1871 with the information of making of Germany. So today we have discussed on 2 side heading. One was the revolution of the liberals. Second one was the making of Germany 1871. So these are the information which is prevailing in the pages of 17, 18, 19. So up to 19 pages we done. We have to get into the page number 20 in the next class. That with the side heading of unification of or making of Italy. So I hope everyone understood me. Today we have to get into the next side heading of the CBSE question, that is unification of Italy. Today I have planned to let you know on 2 side headings. The first one is under the unification of Italy. The second one is under the nation state of Italy, or the formation of nation state of Italy. So these are the 2 side heading only I am going to make it to know today. Shall we get into the question? Yes. Please join with me. So today we are going to get into the side reading of unification of Italy. It was formed in the year 1861. So before that, how was that country and who all fought against the government for the formation of Italy? All this information only I am going to let you know. First thing, in Italy, the people, that same thing was happened like Germany also scattered and they need a unified country. The same thing here also. The country was fragmented. Fragmented means it was scattered. It was scattered and they want to unify the country. For that they done a revolt. And second thing will be, the Italy was divided into 7 states. The Italy was divided into 7 states. But of the 7 states, the only one state which ruled by the Italian princely house. Actually, Italian people only rule over one of the states of Italy. Remaining 6 were under the control of other European government. So, like Sardinia Piedmont. Sardinia Piedmont was one of the state which was under the control of the Italian princely house, and remaining states which were under the control of different kind of people or different kind of regime. Regime, different kind of rule. For example, North. First one, North. Here, North was under the control of Austrian Habsburg. Austrian Habsburg. Second, Center. Center was under the control of Pope. Next, Southern region. Southern region was under the control of Bourbon dynasty of Spain. So, actually the people were scattered and they have been ruled under many dynasties. Before the formation of Italy, that was scattered, and each and every places was under the control of different kind of dynasty of the Italy. Like Habsburg also on the dynasty which was under the control of the Italy. So here, meanwhile, that Italy was divided into 7 states. But one of the important states was Sardinia Piedmont. It was under the control of the Italian princely house. Second thing, the northern part of the Italy was ruled by the Austrian Habsburg. Center was ruled by the Pope. And the last one, southern part of the Italy was ruled by the Bourbon dynasty of Spain. And next thing next thing is given in your book C. Like we studied Giuseppe Mazzini. So Giuseppe Mazzini was one of the Italian revolutionary who made a revolt against the government for the unification of Italy. We studied in the previous side reading, in the previous session we studied. So Giuseppe Mazzini. Giuseppe Mazzini, who started a revolt against the government for the formation of Italy from 1813. He started the revolt against the government for making one country of Italy, for making a country, for making the nation state of Italy in 1830. And initially, in the year 1831 and in the year 1848, he done a revolt against the government. Have you all understanding for what purpose he done a revolt against the government? Only one purpose, that was for the unification of Italy. So when the revolt was done by the Giuseppe Mazzini in the year 1831 and 1848, that became failed. That became failure. Actually, if any revolt was happened, whatever the demand which we place in front of the government, that should be fulfilled. But when this revolt was done by this Giuseppe Mazzini, that ended into failure. When the unification of Italy plan became failure, which done by Giuseppe Mazzini, that work was carried by Victor Emmanuel II. So Victor Emmanuel II, who was the king of Sardinia, Piedmont, Now, when that work was entered into failure, which carried by Giuseppe Mazzini, that same work was continued to do by the Victor Emmanuel II, who was the king of Sardinia, Piedmont. And he led a revolt, and he led a struggle against the government for the unification of Italy. And we studied in the previous paragraph, yesterday's session, we studied the unification of Germany. William who take a plan for the unification of Germany, and in that chief minister was, we studied what Bismarck we studied. Here the same thing. Here the leader of the unification of Italy, was Victor Emmanuel, but the chief minister of the plan, the executor of the plan, was Cavour. Cavour was the chief minister. In other ways, we can say he was chief minister of the committee which led by Victor Emmanuel II. We can say in that way. In other ways, we can say it was a committee that assisted by this Cavour. So Cavour was the chief minister who assisted to the plan of Victor Emmanuel II. And next thing will be in 1859. This Cavour, who defeated the Austrian forces. In the previous paragraph, unification of Germany, we studied 7-year war was conducted with 3 countries like Austria, like France. We studied, just like that here. They done a war, especially this Cavour, who led a war with the Austrian forces in 1859. In that war, obviously they succeeded in that war. Obviously they became the victorious over Austria in the year 1859. Second thing, in 1860, the year 1860, they marched west to the Italy, to the parts of Italy, to the southern parts of Italy. They marched towards the southern parts of Italy. Actually, northern side, southern side, eastern, western side, that side is quite common in all the countries. So, when they want to unify the country, when they want to make other places under one control, they have to capture all the places under their guidance. Is it no? Isn't it? So, that he took a revolt and who took a march, who took a movement towards to the southern Italy. And finally, in the year 1861, they unified Italy, and they announced Victor Emmanuel II was the king of Italy. Victor Emmanuel II was the king of Italy. So these were the background, these were the things which happened, begin the formation of Italy. And even when this kind of thing was happened, even the monarchy form of government, also thought if the country will be unified, our economic development, our economic condition will be improved, and political dominance will be improved. That kind of thing was there in the mind of the monarchy form of government people, or monarchical rule. In that time, monarchical government rulers or monarchical government ministers, they thought, even though the unification of Italy will be happen, that won't affect the monarchical form of government. So that paved the way for the economic development. That kind of ideology, that kind of thought also was there in the mind of the ruling class people. So you should know when was the unification of Italy? 1861. You should know who was Victor Emmanuel II, who was the king of Sardinia, Piedmont. You should know who was Cavour. Cavour was the chief minister of the organization which led by Victor Emmanuel II for the formation of Italy. And then Garibaldi. I didn't tell you who was Garibaldi. No, Garibaldi, Giuseppe Garibaldi. That was Giuseppe Mazzini. No, here Giuseppe Garibaldi, who also who was a person who led a armed rebellion. Actually, some armed people also, some soldier also who came forward to do the revolt against the government for the unification of Italy. No, that armed forces revolt was led by Giuseppe Garibaldi. Giuseppe Garibaldi. So that person also who got a support in Italy, and finally the unification of Italy became successful in the year 1861. Have you ever got this paragraph? And 7 states, divided into 7 states. Most important state was Sardinia, Piedmont, and north by Austin, Habsburg, center by Pope, southern part of Italy ruled by Bourbon dynasty of Spain. That's it. Shall we move on the next slide, Didi? Yes. The strange case of Britain. Here we are going to learn the strange case of Britain. Actually, we studied German was unified, Italy was unified because of the revolt which done by the citizens of that particular country we studied. Here, this country, this nation state was informed with the revolution. Have you understood me? This country, this nation state was informed with the revolution. It took a long process. Step by step only, it became a nation state. Step by step only, that country was unified. That country became vast. And this country Britain was in a nation state before 18th century. So first thing, it wasn't formed with the revolution. Second point will be, it was in the nation state before 18th century. And the identity of the country or the inhabitant of the country was settled in British Isles. British Isles. British Isles mean actually they were resided in the part of Western Europe. Western side of Europe only they stayed or they inhabited. Inhabited mean they lived in the part of Western Europe. So the inhabitant of the people who resided in British Isles, and they follow the same ethnic. They follow the same ethnics like Welsh, like English, like Scots. So these were the people of that country. They used to follow the common ethnic. Common ethnic means same language and same political situation. That they follow the same pattern what they follow all around that British Empire. So that is what they follow, the same ethnic. even Welsh people, even English people, even Scots people. So these were the people who resided in the Britain country, where they used to follow the same ethnic. Same ethnic means same language, same culture, same political situation. And next thing will be in 1688. 1688. In 1688, the English people who seized the parliament, Actually, parliament also existed there, but the parliament was under the control of the monarchy. No, here English people who captured the parliament or who seized the parliament in the year 1688. And in the year 1707, that is the Act of Union. The Act of Union. It was signed between Scotland and England. Scotland and England. So Act of Union was implemented in the year 1707. So by that Act, Scotland and England formed the British Empire, which means United Kingdom. United Kingdom. They formed the United Kingdom. One more time, 1707 Act of Union was implemented. By that Act or by that order, Scotland and England formed the United Kingdom. Here, Scotland agreed. We were under the control of England. So they not asked any independent. They want to be collaborated with the England government, and they agreed hereafter we should be under the control of the Britain, or we should be under the control of the England. That is what the important provision of the Act of Union, which was passed in the year 1707. And this I already told you, in 1688 the whole parliament was captured by the English people. I already told you. So most of the English people only occupied the role in the parliament. They didn't give any rights to the Scottish people, and they didn't do any favor to the Scottish people. Totally. Actually, Scotland people, they couldn't speak in their language. They were prohibited to use their dress code. They couldn't do anything on their own because they were totally under the control of the England. And even some monarchy clan, who were from Scottish Highland. Some monarchy clan means king. Some monarchy clan who were from the Scottish country, who were from the Scotland, when they asked the independence from the control of the Britain, they were suppressed. Okay, once they agreed to be a part and parcel of the Britain, but day by day they realized it wasn't good. They didn't rule us in a good manner. So why don't we get a freedom? That kind of thing was emerged in the mind of the Scottish people. So they came forward and demanded the freedom from the hands of the Britain, but they didn't agree that the Scottish people were totally suppressed. The Scottish people were totally suppressed. Second thing will be Ireland. Ireland. Here, Ireland people also have same fate. Ireland people also have same fate. here how the Scottish people were controlled under the guidance of the Britain. No? The same thing was implemented over Ireland. Here one thing was happened. The people, the religion divided into Catholic and Protestant. Catholic and Protestant. One more time, Ireland has two kinds of religion. Two kinds of religion mean two branches of religion. In Christianity, so many branches are there, no? So two branches were there in Ireland. They were Catholic and Protestant. Here what happened, no? The Britain wanted to control the whole Ireland. So these England people, these English people who supported to Protestant. They supported to Protestant, and the Protestant who controlled the Catholic people. Actually, they didn't make that both the branches of the religion into unity. They want to make a partition among them. They want to separate them from each other. So they supported only to the Protestant. The Protestant controlled the Catholic. And when this Catholic was controlled by the Protestant, no, this Catholic who done a revolt against the government, who done a revolt against the Protestant, but they were totally stopped. They were controlled. They were suppressed, they were controlled, and some kind of punishment which offered over the Catholic people. By the way, that problem was curtailed. That problem was cut off. And even the Ireland people also, the people also became under the control of the Britain or British Empire. And next thing will be, finally, they done a revolt. They done a revolt in the year 1799. This Ireland people who done a revolt in the year 1799. So when this revolt was occurring in Ireland, you know, that revolt was curtailed, that revolt was stopped, and by the way, that Ireland also united with the Britain Empire. Ireland also united forcibly, or the Ireland was united in forced manner with the Britain or with the British Empire in the year 1801. Actually, this revolt was led by Ten. Ten was the second part of the name of a person who led a revolt in the year 1799. The first part of the name I let you know last of the session or in the next class. So, Ten was a person who led a revolt in the year 1799, and finally this revolt was curbed, this revolt was curtailed, and by the way, this Ireland also became a part and parcel of Britain Empire in 1801. Now Ireland became a part and parcel of Britain. Now Scotland also became a part and parcel of Britain. So they introduced a new flag. They introduced a new flag. They introduced a new national anthem and many changes which were brought by the Britain Empire. And their national anthem that start with God Save Our King. God Save Our King, and even the national flag with the jack color. So all these things which brought under the control of the Britain Empire or the British Empire. Please take a notes. Name was Wolfton. Wolfton. So their flag was Union Jack. Union Jack. And they announced English as the official language. So here you should know, they used to follow the same kinds of language, same kinds of culture, same kinds of political dominance was there in Britain, and the people were resided in the British Isles. And 1688 Parliament was captured by the people. 1707 Act of Union was passed. By that Scotland and England became a partner, or became as a united country. But Scotland agreed under the dominance of England. Scotland was ready to live under the guidance of England. And finally, Ireland also has same fate. It has two kinds of branches of Christianity, Catholic and Protestant. But England people supported only to the Protestant. So there also revolt occurred. In 1799, that revolt was led by Wolfe Chen, and that revolt was stopped. Then 1801. This Ireland also became a part and parcel of British Empire, and they introduced a new flag of Union Jack and Nationalism, and they announced English language as a common language for everyone. So this is the information which are prevailing under both the side readings of the strange case of Britain and as well as the unification of Italy. I hope everyone understood. So please. Actually, almost the part of the lesson, almost the maximum part of the lesson have done. Only two side readings are remaining. The two side readings are visualizing the nation and the nationalism and imperialism. Please join with me. Please, we have to get into the lesson. Visualizing the nation. Visualizing the nation is nothing. Actually, in those times, the artists who compare the country with the female picturization, they compare the country with the human being. They weren't compare the country with the male picturization. They compare the country with the female picturization. Through the female statue only, they share everything to the people, like justice idea, like liberty idea, like republic idea. All kinds of idea have been exposed to the people, have been shared with the people only with the picturization of female. For example, during the French Revolution, only, they have an idea of liberty, justice and republic. These ideas, this liberty, justice, republic ideas, these ideas have been shared with the people of France through the picturization of female. As you already know regarding the Liberty statue. How does the Liberty statue look like? What are the speciality of the Liberty statue? How does it look? Yeah, it has a red cap and it has a broken chain, and even it has a weighing scale and blindfolded, and the eyes are covered with a cloth that we seen. Do you remember? Do you know that? Yes, obviously that Liberty statue is covered with a red cap or broken chain and even weighing scale and blindfolded. Do you think that Liberty statue is a male? No, it's a female statue. The Liberty, I share the idea of liberty, republic and even the justice. All the ideas have been shared with the people of the country only through the female statue or only with the female portrait or female picturization. And next thing will be in France. Not only that, in France. In France, they portray the women whose name was Christian Marion. Christian Marion was a woman whose picture have been inscribed on coin on scale, on all the squares of public places. Square mean on the roadside, on the wall, all the public places. It has a picture of Christian Marian. So Christian Marian was a woman whose picture or whose portrait have been inscribed on coin, symbol, and even in all the public places. What does it show? What does it share? What was the purpose which used by the government? What is the purpose which used by the government of France? Yeah, this Christian Marian was a woman whose picture was inscribed for the purpose to share the liberty, share about justice, and share about republic. All these ideas have been shared in France only through the picturization of the woman whose name Christian Marian. And when this women picture have been used by the France country, meanwhile Germans use the women with the oak leaves. German use the women with the oak leaves. You heard about the oak tree, that oak leaves. Oak referred to heroism. And Christian Marian picture is already given in your book. If you don't know how it's look like, just refer the book once. So, visualizing the nation, the poet or the artist who describe the country as a female picture, as a human being, and especially they combine the country with a female picturization. In France, they use the picture of Christian Marian in all the coins and in all the symbols and in all the public places, and they share the ideas about liberty, justice, and even the republic. And even German people, they use the women picturization with the oak leaf and oak refer to heroism. These are the information only which providing under the side reading of visualizing the nation. Then we have to switch over to the next title or next side reading. The side reading is Nationalism and Imperialism. Nationalism, imperialism. Before getting to that particular side reading, I want to let you know what do you mean by nationalism and what do you mean by imperialism. You already know what do you mean by nationalism. It was quite common and we already had discussed in the previous session, previous class. In the beginning of the class itself, I told you what do you mean by nationalism. Nationalism is nothing. If anyone loves his or her country, they want to do something for the sake of the goodness of the country and people. That is what the nationalism. Like you can compare that nationalism with the patriotism somewhat. But this imperialism is totally different from the word of nationalism. Imperialism means when we want to dominate others, when we want to show our superiority over other country. That is what imperialism. For example, Britain done that imperialism over Africa and even over India. That is what imperialism. So in this side reading, what are the information? One more time I want to let you know, imperialism is nothing when we want to try to control other country, when we want to subordinate other country under our control. That is what the imperialism. So here at the end of the 18th century, there was no nationalism. Actually, they are loving their country, but they are not cooperated with each other. For doing the nationalism, you should be cooperated with each other. Am I right or wrong? Yes, I am right. If you want to show our nationalism against the government or against any other country or against anyone, we should be cooperated. But at the late of 18th century, at the end of 18th century, there was no nationalism. The nationalist. Who were the nationalists? The people who follow the nationalist idea or the people who follow the nationalism, they were the nationalists. So the nationalists who were intolerant, they were not ready to adjust with anyone, they were not ready to adjust with the ideas of any other country, they want to do the war also. Actually, as a true nationalist, they want to, they should save the country. When they do something against the country, that wasn't called as the nationalism. So this nationalist people who were intolerant, they are ready to do the war and they are fighting with themselves. Once upon a time they were together, but as of end of 18th century, they were fought with themselves. They fought among themselves. And the nationalist feeling, important nationalist feeling or important problem was occurred in the year 1871 in Balkan country or Balkan territory. Nationalist problem was occurred. Occurred in 1871 in Balkan. Actually, Balkan was a territory which comprised with many places. Actually, we couldn't say this particular place is what referred as a Balkan country. This particular place was what referred as a Balkan country. It comprised, it consolidated, it accompanied with many other countries. Like Herzegovina, Serbia, Romania, Croatia, Bulgaria. Many territories were there. Like some places only which I written in a board, that Herzegovina, Serbia, Romania, Croatia, Bulgaria. These were the part and parcel of Balkan country, and they fought among them. Actually, it was a part and parcel of Ottoman Empire. They fight among themselves for freedom. They want to detach from that country. They want to be dragged themselves from the control of the Ottoman Empire. Each and every country which were under the Balkan, they want to get freedom. So they involve in a war. They fight against the government. And not only that, when we are not together, when we are not united, other country will be involved in our matter, and other country will take it as an advantage and take our control under its control. Have you understood? Actually, when we are not united, some other people will involve in our problem. Just like that, when this country people fighting with themselves for freedom, at the same time, many powerful countries who try to occupy the Balkan country. For example, Russia, Britain, Austro-Hungary, Germany. If we are together, if we are united, no one can involve in our problem, or no one can raise question from us. But when they are fighting with themselves, the powerful countries of Russia, Britain, Austro-Hungary, and even Germany, these countries want to control over Balkan territory. And the Balkan people were not united, which means they want to capture many places within that country itself. In Balkan territory also they have many other countries. They want to capture one by one places, and they want to show their dominance over other countries. This problem were existed among themselves. Let's see in the year, and not only that, when Russia, Britain, Austro-Hungary, Germany involved in the matters of Balkan, that led to the First World War. Can you let me know when was the First World War? First World War was in the year 1914 to 1918. So when these countries involved in the Balkan territory, that led to the First World War. And not only that, in 1914, nationalism was there along with the imperialism in 1914. When nationalism also there, but that nationalism was existed along with the principle of imperialism, and that imperialism was that when these things were occurred, that country people want to get freedom. They actually, when imperialistic ideas were existed in those countries, that country people who fought against the government and they tried to get independent. They would try to get a dominion rule. What is the dominion rule? Dominion rule means they don't want to be under the control of any other country. They want to rule themselves. They want to form a separate government. So, nationalism was there along with imperialism in the year 1914, and that imperialism totally eradicated. When the countries got independent one by one. First, many countries got independent, like even America, even Africa, even India, each and every country got independent from the control of the Europeans one by one, when the countries got independent from the hands of the imperialistic ideas or from the hands of the European, by the way, that make a name for imperialism, that eradicated imperialism. What do you mean by eradicated? Eradicated means it erase. Eradicated means erase. It erased the ideas of imperialism when the countries got independent one by one. So these were the information which had given under nationalism and imperialism. So at the end of the 18th century, at the end of the 18th century, there were no nationalist ideas, and in 1871, biggest trouble was occurring. Balkan country was a part and parcel of Ottoman Empire. That Ottoman Empire comprised with many other countries like Herzegovina, Serbia, Romania, Bulgaria, and even Austro-Hungary. These were some places which included with the Balkan territory. That Balkan territory fought with themselves, and when they fought with themselves for the cause of freedom, you should know why they fought among themselves. They not fight among themselves for a rice or for a product to eat. They demanded the freedom from the hands of the Ottoman Empire. That's what they involved in the freedom struggle. They involved in the fight. And not only that, when this problem was occurred within Balkan territory, the powerful countries of Russia, Britain, and even Austro-Hungary and Germany. These were the countries who involved in that problem. So, by the way, the imperialism which destroyed the country from the year of 1914, and finally when the countries got independent one by one, by the way, the imperialism got eradicated. The imperialism was eradicated. So, please everyone take notes over this, and please go through the book once. Then only you should know what I'm telling you. Otherwise, definitely you can understood, but you couldn't memorize those information. So once go to the book. This is the advice goes to the children. And please share, subscribe, and do the support. And one more thing. So this lesson is over. Next, I want to take a lesson from the civics portion. The first lesson which is there in that particular section is sharing of power. Sharing of power means how does the government share the power with legislative, executive, and judiciary, and that all this information only we are going to looking forward in the next class. I hope everyone understood. Keep support. Thank you.